What if I told you the way it has always been done is not the best way? Facing your fears will change your life. The passion behind this journey is merging two separate worlds into one with the goal of creating value and awareness for a better life.
I'd rather be sidelined trying to achieve greatness than watch greatness achieved and it only set on the sideline. Now introducing your host, Jacob Emery.
This episode is brought to you by R&R Pipeline, an infrastructure company. Our purpose? Enhancing America's infrastructure with a safety-driven, integrity-led culture that provides an environment for team members to grow and thrive. Because I got to touch on this, because you started out with your mentality of the old Trevor. And you blame the world. I will reference it in saying that you were somewhat of a victim mentality because you were blaming
absolutely 100%.
Not looking in the mirror and saying, it's me.
Yep.
Tell me what your thoughts are on the modern day dad bod and being out of shape and thinking that it's cool to be this beer belly fat guy chugging beers. Because I know what I think, and I'm sure that our thoughts are similar, but give me your perspective on that.
Sure. Well, I think it devolved to that, right? So I think if I look back at my grandparents, my grandparents were farmers. Mm-hmm. And 90 years old, my grandpa was driving a school bus. And he manhandled the shit out of me at 67 years old like I was a fucking little boy. And I was 15 and full of testosterone and piss and, bitterness. And I thought I was all that, right? But he threw me around like a rag doll. So I'm like, he was strong. Most people in their 60s now are pussies, right? Mm. And the future 60 to 65-year-olds are going to be embarrassing outside of the way we think. But the dad bod, here's what's happened in my opinion. First of all, it's disgusting. I think it's embarrassing because you are consciously making a decision to do that. Mm-hmm. When people go, well, my parents were overweight. Yeah, but why are you? Well, I have bad genetics. Genetics, here, it's easy. If anyone sees this, has this much to do, a fucking goose egg, with how you are shaped when it comes to your athleticism. Mm-hmm. It might have to do with how tall you are, your hair color, genetics, or all that. But your decisions control how what you become. So what I think has happened is the group is so massive that does so little, and they've become so noisy. And I think that this platform has allowed people a place to make a lot of noise and demand respect for something that doesn't deserve respect, to demand approval for something that doesn't deserve approval, and to demand acceptance for something that I'll be fucking damned deserves a second of acceptance. And they cry and squawk and moan, and the cancel culture has come out and gone, well, we have 40 million of us fat fucks, and we are going to make a bunch of noise and cancel someone who's fit, and we're going to swing. See, what they've done is they've taken the definition and relabeled it. But if you are fat and sloppy and you relabel the definition to going, I'm a big bodied person navigating a gravity environment, you're still fucking fat. So changing the label doesn't change what you are, it changes what you call it. Mm-hmm. Right? And so I think people have become so tolerant, their standards have dropped so low that they're willing to be here because now it's a race to the bottom, right? So if you and I are in a neighborhood, we're going to stand out. Nobody else is like us in our neighborhood. Nobody. And like we're the ones that run around our neighborhood dragging sleds and doing bunny hops and crazy shit up and down. And we're outside every day and our neighbors are like, you fucking guys. You got a bunch of exotics and crazy ass cars and two jacked people doing dumb shit in the driveway. Right? So what's funny is that's normal in my world. I don't know any different. So what's crazy is I think what happens is people go, if I'm sloppy, I look across the street and I see Tommy. Right? Poor Tommy always gets abused in my conversations, but I see Tommy, and Tommy is a little bit fatter than me, a little bit more broke than me, a little less of a house than me, a little sloppier dressed than me, a little like just running at a lower capacity than me. Well, I go, well, I'm doing better than Tommy. So now my output, which was here, is slowly starting to go down. Mm-hmm. And now I've reached the same level as Tommy. So now I can't compare to Tommy. So I look for a new Tommy. And I go, well, there's one person down the street that's even worse than me. And they're even fatter and they're even lower. But the problem, because you race yourself to the bottom And now you become the person that validates why you're there. It's impossible to get anywhere else, and why men like you and I and our families are fucking lucky. Because they're too busy looking at the top and they're comparing it to where they are instead of going, that's a target. And they're going, what does Jake do? What does Trevor do? What does Brandy do? What are they doing right now? Instead of what did they do to get there? They're comparing them to their actions at the top versus the climb.
1,000%.
Right? And so they sling mud at the people that are winning because it's the only thing they can do, because they feel they're disgusted and loathe themselves for where they're at, because they know damn well inside that they can do something about it, but they don't have the unfathomable work ethic that men like you and I have to get to where we want to go. And somebody's going to hear this and get all triggered and offended. Good. You should be offended. Be offended enough to go change your fucking life.
Yeah.
Because if you are fat, you did it. I've never accidentally eaten anything ever in my life. So when I see somebody who is morbidly obese and justifying the dad bod, and then social media going, the dad bod is sexy, I'm going to promise you right now, my wife wants the jacked, fit version of me. She does not want the fat, sloppy version of me. And see, that's where people get confused, is they justify where they are going, well, yeah, but my wife loves me unconditionally and she loves me like this. You're right, and she should, but you're taking advantage of that. And you're taking advantage of that by allowing yourself to be shitty. And then when you're in that hospital bed, I made a post. I said, when you're in that hospital bed and you're on oxygen and you're diabetic and they're amputating your fucking feet or your hands, or you're blind or you're dying and you're in congestive heart failure, the problem becomes you look at her and she still loves you, but you're a shitbag because you're leaving her with memories of a fat guy that did nothing with his fucking life.
1,000%.
Shame on you.
I talk about being selfish. And to me, I'm going to take care of me, number one, hands down, because if I don't take care of me first, nobody's getting the best of me.
You can't. I just posted that today. I go, I love my wife. I love if people don't understand how much I love my wife, I fucking love her so much. And I love my kids so much. And I love the people, like my people in my coaching program, my group, like you guys. I love my family so much that I'll take care of myself to make sure I can give you everything. When people go, well, being jacked in a six-pack doesn't mean you're healthy, because you can look at somebody who's slightly chubby and they'll run circles around. Listen, again, arguing the extremes to make yourself feel better for where you are, right? Mm-hmm. Because let's say you're making $10 million profit a month and you're doing $120 million in your pocket and you're living this lavish life. And let's say I'm doing $1 million a month and I'm going, okay, I make significantly less per month than Jake, but I go, well, I'm still having a really great life, but if the life that I want is on the other side of your equation, I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. So to justify where I am, it's the people that make 32 grand a year and they go, well, I'm still living. You fucking hate it. Listen, nobody who's fat likes it. Nobody who's broke likes it. Nobody who's alone, not by choice, likes it. Mm-hmm. And they fucking know it. So instead, they get so angry where they are that they go, you're attacking me. I'm going to vilify success. Listen, if the world, you know what I figured out? I figured this out. I could create world peace. This is going to be great. You're going to love this. I could create absolute world peace and fix the whole fucking planet. If every one of us on the planet gave one solution to one person, something that we have struggled with, that we have solved, and we just taught one other person how to do it and everybody did that, there'd be no wars. But everybody goes, I don't want to tell you my secrets. I want to keep it to myself and I want to be better than you. What if everybody's better?
And that's where me and you are so passionate about helping other people, because of what we've been through in life. And your story is way more extreme and admirable than mine, but adversity is the reason that we're passionate about what we do. And the lack of health awareness in my industry, in the construction and the pipeline world, is so bad. The iron has built my infrastructure. That's where the name of the show came.
Fuck, what you told me is unreal. When you told me about the Mountain Dew and all that stuff, I was like, holy shit. And the problem is this, though. I had a lady, Jake, listen to this. I had a lady one time come into my clinic when I was still in my practices, and she wanted to lose weight. She was probably about 300 pounds. She was in a place where she's like, I need to lose the weight. And I said, yes, you do, but it's not for me. It's not for you. It's for everybody that loves and cares about you, because you need to make sure that you're because somebody's looking at Nana right now and going, well, Nana's just a big lady. And you start to accept it because it becomes the norm. Change what the norm is, raise your standards. But this is what she said to me. It was heartbreaking. I came home and I told my wife, and this is probably 10 years ago. I said, listen, first of all, she wrote down what she eats. Right? Because I have everybody write down what they eat for 72 hours if I'm going to help them lose weight. Yeah. And I go,
I do 2 weeks, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's even better.
Baseline.
Right? Yeah. It's just, and I'm like, give me everything you eat for 72 hours. And I go, if you change anything, I'll know. If you say you eat chicken breast, rice, and a salad, and you are $3 I'm coming to your house, you're paying for the flight.
Yeah.
Because that's bullshit. Yep. So I had her do it, and I looked at it, Jake, Taco Bell. But here's where it freaked me out. And she was serious. I go, listen, and I forget her name, Nadia, I think it was. And I said, you can't eat Taco Bell anymore at all, zero. And I go, here's what you're going to eat. And it wasn't like eating like a rabbit. Like it was just, and I actually have a lot of people do intermittent fasting because it fucking works. Mm-hmm. Listen, it works. And you can sit there and get on the whole, I don't know, intermittent fasting, autophagy. It fucking works. I've cured so many things by letting my body do its job. So I don't care what someone wants to go against.
You don't need to eat all the time. Just basic mental fortitude about food.
Listen, it's like if you and I, first of all, do you know how hard it is to smash enough calories in 4 hours to be fat? Mm-hmm. It's so fucking hard.
Yes.
And people, what if I'm eating nothing but Snickers bars? Well, then you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Then you're just stupid, right? That's natural selection.
You're going to spend the other 20 hours of the day shitting.
Yeah, you're going to feel like a bag of hammered dog shit, right? So it's like, go ahead, but you're not going to like it very much. And if you blame intermittent fasting, well, that's your problem because it always works. And so I give her a diet to eat. And it's very just clean and normal food, like steak, fucking potatoes, vegetables, like just regular food. And she starts crying. And she goes, if I can't eat Taco Bell, I don't know what to eat because I don't know how to grocery shop or cook. And I was like, holy fuck. And that's the part that made me go, the hypnosis of social conditioning is so powerful that they have convinced people that if it doesn't come from a package or it's made for them, it's not good for you or it's too hard to do. My wife is such a good cook. Holy shit, can she cook her ass off. And she makes food that's real. So we don't buy bread anymore. She makes bread. Every day she makes bread. Mm-hmm. And it has this many ingredients. Mm-hmm. It has water, salt, flour, and yeast. And that's it. And every day I've never eaten so much fucking bread in my life. And what's crazy
can talk about what happened to wheat.
It doesn't blow me up.
And like wheat, 20, 30 years ago, we both know what happened with that whole industry and why it's such a bad, gluten is such a bad thing for us now.
Fucking because unreal. Really and it wasn't like that before.
Right. Yes.
This highly refined bullshit. They were using mills, fucking mills with giant stones to grind wheat. It turned into it's such a different thing, right? Now they're putting it in a Vitamix and going, well, it's bread, right? It's just bizarre.
Right.
So I think that the mindset behind being this dad bod or getting angry and making a TikTok about why Disney should change the size of their seats. You're 300 pounds. Why are you so humiliated? You did it to yourself. I was mortified when I saw a video. Then they put me in this chair and I was humiliated because I didn't fit. Do you know how horrible that is? I'd be like, motherfucker, I'd feel bad walking around just like that.
Yes.
Demanding acceptance for mediocre behavior is the problem.
Yeah.
The force of average is killing people.
It is. And you know what else is bad? Not only is it accepted, but it's just it's admirable to certain people.
It's rewarded.
It's disgusting.
They celebrate being overweight. They celebrate the average American is on 9 different medications.
Yes.
9?
Trevor, there's two choices in life. You either focus on your wellness or you focus on your illness. And your illness comes later in life. The timetable's different, right? So it's something that's unconscious. You don't know that you're focused on your illness by the choices you make. Consciously, every day we focus on our wellness because we know better. Everyone knows that they're making the wrong choice when they're drinking Mountain Dew for breakfast and eating fucking hoes.
You fucking know.
Yes.
You know.
Whether you want to accept it or acknowledge it.
Today, my post was like, you want people, you ask somebody, I actually posted it yesterday. I went, here's what people do. I go, if if you give advice to somebody that asks for advice, and after you give that advice, they validate and justify why they did what they did and why it's the more important thing to do. They didn't ask for advice. They wanted permission.
They wanted validation for what they were doing.
Because it's like, and I get people in my program that do this. They send me a message. Hey, I did this. What do you think? The fuck difference does it make? You did it already.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I'm out.
That is one
Ask
of the
me
most
before you do it.
things. Going to someone and, if someone comes to me and asks my opinion, because I know I have a specialty in that area.
Sure.
Ask my opinion and then do the opposite of what I said and then come back to me and wonder why I don't work. I can't even just get the fuck
I
out
have
of
a
here.
real hard time. So I'll punt. So I know some people, they suck at being coached, and I will give somebody something and they'll take it and it'll become so convoluted in their mindset that they'll be like, well, you're attacking me, you're offending me, and offensive is just another word for I don't like the label I'm giving myself, right? Nobody's offended. Just stop being so fucking soft.
Right.
And
That's exactly it.
people are like, well, I don't like the way that came out. If it takes me 3 months to learn how to do this, yeah, but why did it take you 3 months? Because you're taking 20 minutes a day to do it. Take the entire day, every day until you get it, and you'll know in 3 days.
Being coachable,
Like,
and
they don't
having
wanna put the-
self-awareness are like very, very rare anymore. It really is rare.
What's scary is people focus on the deficiency when it occurs, but not preventing it, right? So like health, wealth, and relationships are deficiency needs. When you have them, you never think about them. So the problem with health is it runs in the background. Your body is going to war on your behalf all day. And if you help it, it rewards you. If you hurt it, it fights for you until it runs out of gas, and then you blame it.
Yep.
Which is so fucking weird. And then that's all you think about, right? When you don't have money, that's all you think about is money. When you don't have health, that's all you think about. When your relationship is gone, that's all you think about. But when it's in the moment, people take it for granted and just do stupid shit. But you know when you're doing stupid behavior. Everybody does. You know when you're doing dumb things. You know when you're engaging in things that are going to cost you. And people ask me all the time, well, what's the secret? I go, it's easy. If you're going to listen, I'll tell you. You show up every day and you zero out every option that doesn't take you in the direction that you want to go. I mean everything, and you have to be willing to zero out your bank account. You need to be willing to zero out your calendar. You need to be willing to zero out your energy and effort so there's nothing left in your tank when you're done. If you are willing to do that, and no matter what shows up in your life, you do not deviate from the path you're heading towards to achieve the goal, you'll win, because in 6 months, you're going to look around and everybody else that gave themselves options will be gone. And you will be the only one standing there. The only way you can do it is to take away every option to do anything but.
Yep. And
that's how we function. You and I function like that.
Absolutely. I've been really big on this in the last probably year, Trevor. It's back to the basics. And these are the 3 to 5 things in this 1 year that I need to accomplish, for the 3 to 5 things in the 3 years I need to accomplish for my 10-year vision.
Layer, 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 layer,
1,000%.
right? Like you
And
build
then
the
break it down to
foundation
90
and the
days.
foundation the house builds itself. Right? It's like I tell people about their content online. They're like, I don't know. I'm not getting any views. I'm not getting any traction. Nobody's buying
Content
my stuff.
sucks.
I go,
You say it every Sunday.
I'm like, fuck, because your shit is garbage.
Yeah.
Your shit is garbage. And the worst part is that when I look at it, you go online and you look up YouTube videos to justify why it's good. And it should have worked. I'm like,
But it didn't.
You're looking at
so
the wrong
it's not
video.
good enough. Yeah.
Fact, right? What did I say? You take the word algorithm and replace it with the word audience.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
And they get mad and they keep making these random stuff. Like if every time you went to work, you changed your career. You'd go to your own company and you're like, okay, guys, today what we're doing is we're building airplanes. And then, okay, so I got on the phone with Elon Musk and we're actually going to start building the calipers for all their new Teslas. Like they'd be like, what the fuck are we doing? Right? You go, this is what we're doing. This is how we're going to do it. This is the goal. Do nothing but that. You win. You know why people don't like it? I think it's always the most simple thing. They want entertainment, not results.
A lot of time do the boring.
The boring's what does the work.
For a long time. 12 years from 2007 2019, I sacrificed everything, every single day, everything I had. And it sucked every day. And guess what? It took 12 years to accomplish the one goal.
Look at you, man.
12 years.
Look
Did
at
I
you,
want to
man.
do that every fucking day? No.
No.
I used to pray for the problems I have today.
Dude,
I'm
right?
grateful
Like,
today for the problems I have because I used to wish that this opportunity would be there.
The problems that we have, I've learned, you are always going to, life will present you with a test. God will give you a test. And the test is based on what you want out of your life.
Yes.
And so if you say, what people have a tendency to do is they go, Dear God, please, 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 I want to be rich. I want to be fit. I want my marriage to work. I want this, that, and the other, whatever it is. And they ask for it, which is fine. It's not the right way to do it, in my opinion. However, then God goes like this, show me. And he gives you the craziest fucking test. And the size of your test is the size of your ambition. So if you get presented with a giant test, that's God going, let me show you that you can handle it. Because you have to go, if you saw your goal and God laid out all the things you're going to actually have to go through to get there, most people would quit. Because they'd be like, fuck that, I'm not going to do all that. So they come in stages. But all of those are changing your character and conduct to be able to withstand the pressures and the rigors of hitting that target. Like if you become a millionaire for who you become as a person, not the money, right? Because most people don't have the financial or emotional maturity to handle a life like yours or mine. They couldn't handle the fitness. They couldn't handle the money. They couldn't handle it because they'd blow it all and they'd eat all the dumb shit. And then in a month, they'd be just fucked.
Right. Look at lottery winners. I mean, it's a prime example.
2.3 years, right? 2.3 years, $300 million are broke. And I still can't wrap my head around that. Because you and I would be like, dude,
how the hell
can you imagine you and I, fuck, you and I, we win $300 million together. We split it 150 right down the middle. And you know what we would do in about 5 years? Billionaires.
Yes. Invest it all.
And nobody gets that. And we would help so many fucking people.
Yes.
Right? They don't get it. They're like, I don't know. And we would still have all the shit we want.
And then some.
Like, fuck. Yeah. Nobody gets that, right? And I think that's it. It's the boring, monotonous, daily things that people don't want to do that are going to be the ones that produce the results because they go, but I want to be entertained. So they pivot from program to program, workout to workout, person to person, going, I want the next thing. And I think what they're trying to find, and they know it, they want easier. That's what they really should be asking. Show me something easier. But there is no
pray
easier.
for strength, pray for opportunity to get stronger. That's what it's all about.
I got everything that tried to break me made me. Everything.
Yes,
and I know
is what makes you or breaks you.
It built me
it's how you react to it.
Dude, it made me so fucking strong. And I look at it and I had a big ambition and I didn't listen. I didn't listen. God would give me a test. I didn't listen. So it came back harder. And then I didn't listen. It came back harder. And here's the part I'm at now. This is the point I'm at in my life. I'll be very candid about this. That I am down to one cylinder. I got one lung. 51 years old. I don't have the opportunity to withstand another barrage of tests because the next test I have, I will be the example for somebody because I won't make it. And so I look at that and I go, I don't have the opportunity to screw up again. I used them all up because I didn't listen. And I try and tell people that. I go, the tests that are showing up really light and easy, take them, learn, do the work. Don't wait until they get complicated and they burn your life to the ground. And the problem with that is now the standards are so low that they all burn their lives to the ground and blame everybody else, which also on the flip side makes it so easy for people to win right now.
Yes.
Because it's not even a matter of doing better.
Yeah.
Just outlast them.
Yes.
It's all you got to do. And if we show up every day, like I even said, you know what trainers aren't doing anymore? Like, dude, if I went just do push-ups, I even post it in my inner circle and in the Spartan X and in the War Room, all my online, even my free shit. Every day I go 100 days. I want you to do push-ups, air squats, pull-ups, and bicycles every day. Start with one. And when you can add one, add another one. And just keep going. And when they can't be unbroken, stay there until you can add another one. Do that for 100 days. In 100 days, I mean, if you're only doing 5 in a row in 100 days, so what?
Yes.
If you're doing 5 pull-ups, 10 squats, 5 push-ups, 10 bicycles every day, your life will be radically different. Your world will be radically different, and you will be fit.
Because it's not just about doing the thing, it's about the habit of The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy is probably one of my favorite personal development books.
Yes.
And it's something I recommend first and foremost almost 99% of the time because people do not have the habits in place to win. They have loser mentality because of their lack of habits that are good for them. And I have recommended 1 squat and 1 push-up to probably 20-some people just to start a habit. I said, do it for 21 days.
That's all you got to do.
And come back to me after 21 days. Your life will be radically different, and we'll go from there. And nothing else. And I've also done it with water. So someone that had a pop addiction or something like that, I'm not taking anything from you, but every pop you drink a bottle of water with it for 21 days. Come back to me after. And they start to feel better because they're hydrating. They establish a habit. And then it's easy after that. But just getting
because once you have one habit, you just keep stacking habits, right?
Because
and it's
once you can check that box that I did it, it's like, oh shit,
You're
this
building
is
momentum.
not that hard. Yeah.
Yep, you're building
Compound
momentum,
effect
and
is
that's like
so real.
Dude, it's so wild because people look at it and they're like, well, but I have to do this and this is really hard, but I have to do that and that's really hard. I go, you're making it harder than it needs to be. Instead of going, I need to lose the weight. This is what I always, instead of I need to lose the weight, I'm going to lose the weight or I'm going to earn $1 million. Instead, focus on developing the habits that will lose the weight and make the money. And the byproduct will be you'll make the money and lose the weight.
So this is something very powerful because I did not understand this. 12 years, I thought buying R&R Pipeline was going to be Mount Everest for me. And 2 days after the purchase of the company, I have never felt more empty and lost in my life because I thought the ownership status was going to be what fulfilled me. And it was tangible. I went there every day and it was mine, but I was empty inside. And what I figured out, the mountain top is never going to be there for us, Trevor. We're always going to be climbing. So what I figured out is one day that mountain that we're trying to get to, we're going to be there. And then we're going to be going on to the next mountain. And we'll look back and that mountain that we thought we would never hit, we'll barely be able to see it. Because it wasn't about getting to the mountain. It was about the climb to that mountain. It's the joy in the journey and not getting caught up on like having destination disease. The journey, the process of my daily, every day is a perfect day to me. Every day.
Because you're creating it. You're in charge.
That's it. And find
the second somebody relinquishes control, you're fucked. Right? Yes. It's like you're saying about the mountain, right?
Yeah.
Like just control the climb, keep climbing. That's all.
And
you know, like we have an island.
Yes.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Every once in a while, take a look back and just appreciate where you were at and where you're going, and then keep looking forward at where you want to be at, and be present doing it. I think being present is such a misunderstood thing anymore.
Well, because they think it means being present is being satisfied. They're not the same. They're not the same, right? I like every day. Here's the most profound observation as an entrepreneur, a real one. We never think we're good enough. We never think we're far enough, and we always think that somebody else is going to beat us. Like that's literally, and at the same time, and it's arrogant. I always think I'm better than everybody else. And people are like, dude, that's really arrogant. I go, no, because I'm willing to do the work that they're not willing to do. Right. And so it's like, there's always this, I look out on the horizon and there's an island out there and I'm swimming like a fucking bastard just to get to this thing nonstop, just swim. And I just, for some reason, Jake, it just never gets any closer, but that's my purpose. That is what's giving me my drive and my ambition. And along the way, I'm stacking islands the whole way. And I'm just, oh, here's another one. Look at this, a cool ass island. Here's another one. Here's another one. And I look back and I see nothing but a string of islands behind me. And I still haven't gotten to the one. And I'm never going to get to it. I'm never going to get to it.
Never. And I call it journey to your next. That's the
purpose.
Yeah, and I call it journey to your next destination. It's a chapter in my book, and journey to next destination because there is never a final destination. And even the day that I'm buried in the ground, I will still have been going toward my next destination, and I will never know any different because I'll be dead, and I won't know any different.
Correct. Yeah, and that's the purpose, though. There's so much value in that. When people go, I want to sit on a beach and drink Mai Tais and stare at the ocean, you know, the problem with that is that that'll be fun for about a week. And then you're going to be like, I'm bored.
4
Even
days
if you
for me
want
on
to
vacation, I'm out.
Like,
I can't stand it anymore.
I just can't do it, man. I can't do it. People look at us like we're crazy because we work out 1 or 2 times every day when we train. They're like, why are you on vacation? I go, why the fuck wouldn't I work out more? Yeah. Why would I change my habits based on what I'm doing? My habits are my habits. They're regardless of what I'm doing.
If you dictate what you do because of your environment and you don't create your own environment, you will be like everybody else.
Yep. Yeah, welcome to the sheep and running around going, well, they're fat, they're sloppy, they're broke, I guess it's okay for me. But then you compare yourself to the bottom and think you're still winning. But the winner among the losers is still a loser.
Yep.
Right? I try and get in rooms where I'm like, dude, like when I said, hang out with like Goggins and Frisella and Elliot and all these people and Brad, like I hang out with these people on purpose because they play the game heavier and harder than I do. So I go, cool. And people, whoa, yeah, but they're lucky. They're not lucky. Brad took a job for 2 years to pay for his team while he was trying to build his business because he had no money.
Luck is created. Luck is not given. You know as well as I do.
Earn
it. Yes, opportunities have came to us because of our application on the day-to-day.
Exactly.
That's it.
It's like I've had people, like even now, like I think, okay, technically, my dad was overweight. My mom is overweight. I should be overweight. They're not ambitious. We were broke. We had a car that never worked, and we never had air conditioning and never flew first class. We barely flew. We drove everywhere. Like, we didn't have anything when I was growing up. Why does that have no effect on me? And, you know, I've learned, because I don't look back and go, I'm never going to be like that, because the problem is I'm always looking at that then. I just look where I'm going to go. And I think that's why people struggle, is they go, I'm motivated to do this because I'm not going to go there. Well, that's exactly where you're going to go, because you're looking at it all the time. And then when you question why you're not succeeding, it's because you're always looking back at what you don't want to become.
Yes.
Right? So I always go, who is, and I tell people, I go, find somebody that you really admire and you look at and you're like, I'd trade lives with you right now. Mm-hmm. And do what they're doing until you get there.
There's nothing wrong with that. People think that's so whack.
Not,
and you said in the inner circle, like, guys, get the fuck over yourself. There's nothing wrong with this.
Dude, it's bizarre to me, because I look at people and I go, do you have all of the aspects of your life that I love and admire? Yep. Okay. I need to learn how to do what you're doing. Why would I not do that?
Right.
It'll take me 10 times longer to do it on my own. Mm-hmm. I will model the shit out of people doing it better than me.
Who, not how. Not how can I do it? Who's going to do it for me? Like, for me,
dude, right.
I suck at social media. Everything social media related, I suck at it. I told you from day one. It's not going to be, how can I do it? Who can do it for me? And that's what Hannah's doing.
You did.
Yeah.
Yep.
1,000%. I suck at this shit. I don't like doing it, so I'm not going to do it. I refuse to.
Right. It's smarter, though, right? Real leaders delegate as much as they possibly can and focus on what they are good at. I tell people the goal in any business is to whittle down your entire job to only the 5% that only you can do, and delegate the other 95% to people that do it better than you. And usually people micromanage because of their ego, right? They get all egotistical about it and they're like, well, yeah, but I'm going to do it better. Yeah, then you're doing it wrong, because you should find somebody, even if they don't do it better, train them to do it better, and then you give it to them, and then shut up.
Yep. And not only that, but, you know, like for me, not having an assistant, I am way overpaid to be my own assistant. Right?
Fuck.
And my assistant
even on the
is
clock,
amazing.
man.
She has helped me. She has changed my life.
Dude, it's eating up the one thing that we don't get more of anyway. It's our time.
Time. Can't buy it back.
You know, when people look at like anything, like I turn down a ton of podcasts. I'll do this 100 times with you, because I just love you to death and this is fun. But tons of people are like, you got to come on my show. I'm like, no, because there's no value that you're bringing me, and we don't have a relationship, and I'm going to bring you clout, which I'm totally fine with doing if I agree with your stance on what you're doing. But if I'm like, dude, I don't agree with anything you're talking about, forget it, I'm out. And they're like, well, is there a fee? And I'm like, absolutely, 10 grand. Get me on your podcast. I'll do it. And they're like, oh, well, that's really expensive. I go, well, you can call Ed Milet. He's 100.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't get why people don't understand that. And I go, well, like, why are you charging? I go, because you're taking my time.
Yes. Yes.
Right. And I go, at some way,
we have to respect that more than anything is time.
Fuck. Time is so priceless. You and I can earn infinite amounts of money. We cannot add a single second to the clock we have.
That's it.
None.
Yeah.
And nobody gets it, and yet they spend it wrong, right? Like I was saying in my call, I go, it's like you spend your money as if you don't get any more, and you're just flippant and just all over the place with your fucking time. You just spend it as if you just have limitless time, and I go, dude, that's backwards. Yeah. Find me the work you can do to earn more time. Just find me what job that is. I'll do it right now. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. I said, take every minute you have of your life and change that minute to a $100 bill and give those out. And those $100 bills are eating into an account that is forever shrinking. See how intentional and deliberate you are about giving away those $100 bills.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And
I call it priority awareness. And that's how the first quarter of this year was about priority awareness for me. And you were a big part of that journey, because you opened my eyes on certain things that I was doing that not only do I suck at them and I hate doing them, that's hell. That's absolute hell. So I had already kind of had this mindset, but it accelerated because of some of the stuff that you had taught me along the way. I cannot thank you enough for that, by the way. That's been absolutely life-changing.
Absolutely.
But priority awareness was the thing for me. I just refuse to do certain things, and saying no is a complete sentence sometimes. Hey, do you want this piece of cake?
That's all you need. It's okay.
Nope.
No.
I don't need to explain myself. The answer is no.
And it's an emotionless conversation. It's not like No, but it's like when somebody goes, "Hey, listen, how much is this? How much is the wolf pack? How much is the inner circle?" And there's two ways of coming out. You just go, "Hey, well, it's like this much." They're not going to buy your shit if you just go
It's
this much.
12 months. You're in for
there's
this
no
much or
emotion
you're
to
not.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
This is
not.
what it
There's
is.
no There's no conversation. You want to buy the house, you want to buy the car, you want to do it. You want to go do the work, you want to eat the food. It doesn't matter. There's always a very finite definition.
And it's
when
not
people go, "It's
negotiable."
not that simple," it all is that simple.
It is
the
that
gray
simple.
is
you.
Pay
Pay X for X or no.
Yep. You're going to either pay with your time or your money, right? And it's the gray is in you because you lack the ability to make a commitment. But it's always binary, black and white. And people don't like it because it feels like they're like, "Oh, but I have to commit." People don't. It's the commitment. It's the consequences on the other side of the commitment they don't like. Right.
The failure to truly commit. You know that you talked about that 98% commitment. That's 0% to me.
Yeah.
100%.
It is
commitment.
0.
So I call it Pursuit 151. When you're in pursuit of something, you have 200 shares, 100 of commitment, 100 of confidence. When I started this podcast, I was not 100% confident in this venture. And to be honest with you, I'm facing two of my biggest childhood fears every day because speaking in front of a camera is something that scared the shit out of me my entire life. Okay? Taking my shirt off in front of other people, I was a fat kid that got picked on. So I face both of my fears every day just to say fuck you to the world. And I was not
so
confident
good though, dude.
in this.
So fucking good.
I was not confident about this podcast whatsoever. And to say that I'm 100% confident would be a complete lie. I may be 80% confident in it now. I was about 51% when I started, but I was 100% committed. So Pursuit 151, 100% of commitment, 100% committed, 51% confident. If I'm not at least 51% confident, I don't know enough about what I'm doing. So I need to go back to the drawing board and reconsider. I have to be 100% committed, and that is not negotiable.
Yep. And that's what changes everything, though, because the second you do something and you're committed to it, it doesn't matter if you suck at the beginning. It means you're committed to the end.
The confidence will grow over time. You become capable
all the time
and get courage as you go with it. But the commitment is the number one thing.
It's a byproduct of action. Confidence is, people go, how do I build self-confidence? I go, mean every single word that comes out of your mouth.
Yeah. Do what you say you're going to do.
Just do everything you say.
Finish what you start. Yeah.
Yep. If you say you're going to do it, you die before you don't.
Yep. And
if you do that, your confidence goes through the roof because you know your word is your bond.
Yes, 1,000%. I mean, life is really not that complicated. It's not always easy. It's normally going to be hard, but it is fairly simple. It's
simple,
complex.
not easy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep, that's exactly it.
So I want to talk about, because this is something that you know more than anybody, mentality and what you consume and how you process information. So you went through the absolute depths of hell to the most extreme degree. And just like my friend Jeremy, I had him on and he talked about it. And I had to tell him, like, listen, you coming on the podcast is not about you. It is about the people that you can help and change. Because being able to and he's stage 4 cancer and has had that for 6 years, I think. So he goes to the doctor and they say, you should have been dead 5 years ago. You're a miracle. And he refuses to let them tell him what's going to happen. And he's a lot like you in that regard. He is not going to let anyone dictate his life. He is living on his terms. Now, it's been bad. It's been ugly. But he's still standing. And all the people that he went in to that cancer hospital with are not there anymore. They were buried already.
Imagine this. People, I think so often that if somebody gave you a diagnosis that instead of 90% chance of failure, it was 10% chance of success. And that's all they just shifted the syntax. That's it. You would succeed more. Even if the ratio was the same, if they just said it differently.
So powerful.
People don't get that. If you
presentation is everything.
The box is what matters. What's inside, you'll figure it out. But the box is what matters.
I reference, if you're skiing down this big mountain and there's one tree on the whole entire mountain and you have the whole entire world in front of you.
You look at it,
going down the
hill,
hill,
hitting it.
You say, all I got to do is not hit that tree. You're going to smack the fucking thing.
Boom!
Head first. Every time.
Yep. That's
Focus on what you can't
you
control with a positive mindset and the world will change for you so rapidly.
Yeah, you become the architect of your own life, right? And you always are. I think the minute you actually understand that your entire life is a product of you, and when you really spin it backwards and you go, okay, well, I said this, I did this, I went here, I did that, and a year later it actually turned into this, but people aren't willing to do that because they only look behind them maybe like an hour, right? But if it's like, I did this and it brought me to this point, Well, then you can trace it back and you can go, it is a consequence of my actions and thoughts.
Yes.
And so if you change your actions and thoughts, you change the direction of your life. And I think what people do is they put a lot of emphasis into the negative coming from somebody else, and they internalize it. And they go, well, yeah, it must be true. But the problem I have with that is they go, but it's not the same on the positive side. So my answer is always the same to people. I go home and don't, if you're listening, don't ever do this, but go home and tell yourself you're going to die of a terminal disease. Look in the mirror every day and tell yourself that every day for 30 days. You won't make it. You won't fucking make it. I promise you, you won't make it. And you know what people say? Why would I do that? That's fucking stupid. Why do you get up every day and shit talk yourself and seek approval from other people that don't give a fuck about you? Really? Yep. You're seeking approval from somebody that's online that you don't even know who they are. Yes. And you shit talk yourself about your own life instead of going, I'm a badass motherfucker. And people, well, that's delusional. It's not delusional. You're creating that.
Yes. Call it manifestation. Call it whatever you want. 16-year-old version of me, my ceiling of success in high school was to be dead or in jail by 21. That's what my peers told me. And I believed them at that time until I changed. At 16 years old, I was leaving school one day, and at 16, I opened a beer. I chugged a beer before I left the parking lot, and I seen R&R Pipeline working out in front of the school. And I said at that time, at 16, for no rhyme or reason, I didn't talk about it for 12 years. That's going to be my company one day. That's going to be my company one day. I repeated that 5 times. And I was 16 years old, okay? Now, coming back now, 35 years old, I'm going back to the same class. And I was asleep in class when I left school that day. So I'm asleep in class. I'm literally slobbering all over myself, and the bell is what woke me up. So Saved by the Bell. That's how I start my book. Saved by the Bell, and this vision of a different way, a different life. Now, I think next week or the week after, I'm going back for the 3rd time to speak at the school to that same class that I was in, the same exact place where I fell asleep in class and got up and left almost 20 years later. Manifest your life in the way that you want it to be. Do not dictate the terms of your path by someone else's thoughts. Because if you believe it in your head that you can do the thing, you can do it. You can do the thing. You speak your world into existence, good or bad. Good or bad. And so I think what happens with people, like you were saying about your friend, is he speaks his world into existence on his terms. And that's like, I look at people, I go, this is my life, motherfucker, not yours. I will tell you when I do things, not you. And people go, well, that's delusional. I go, that's why you're failing. And that's okay. Because you're listening to other people. That's it. Like, they told me you're not going to make it. And I go, like, I went and I did chemotherapy and I was getting worse, and I was covered in bruises and I'd puke in a bucket, and my wife was building our daughter, and I'd watch reruns of Friends nonstop, and I literally was falling apart. And one day I was like, dude, I am getting so much worse. I can barely walk, can barely get in and out of my truck. I look like death. I look like I got punched in the face. My eyes are all black. And I'm like, this is crazy. And I went to my doctor, and I'd come home and I'd be so sick from chemo for days. And I was like, this can't be right. And I kind of went, I could go into the physiology of it, and chemotherapy should not work, and it doesn't. But that's a whole other conversation. But I looked at my doctor. I said, if I was your son, would you do this to your son? He goes, oh, absolutely. It's the CHOP series of chemotherapy, right? And I remember the Vincristine. It looked like red syrup going into me, and I wouldn't let them put a port in. They're like, oh, it's easier. I go, easier for who? For you? I'm like, you can use a fucking vein, man. I'm good. You're not putting a line into my heart. Fuck you. And they said, well, it's the best thing we can do. And I remember the doctor's like, yeah, this is great. This is how you take care of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I go, if I was your son, I'd bang the floor, and I go, look at me. I go, look at me. Would you do this to your boy? And he got all teary-eyed. He closed the door and he said, no. And I shook his hand, and I said, this is the last time you're ever going to see me. Thank you for being honest. And I quit. And Brandy was mad at me that I stopped chemo, because she was under the same illusion of a lot of people where, like, this is how you fix it, and I don't want to lose my husband. He's going to die now. And we learned more, and now it's like the opposite, right? Like, get the fuck away from me with all your crazy shit. The only thing I think that has any effectiveness in long term and is necessary, my opinion, is antibiotics, because it'll change certain things if you have an infection that are just, they're unstoppable without it. But that's very rare. You don't need it for the sniffles. And so had I listened to them, I would not be here multiple times. And they always tell you this, like, even with cancer, they burn you, they slice you, they poison you. The treatment has not changed for 40 years. And they just rename the chemical and rename the procedure, but it's still the same shit. And it's just more definition of insanity, right? Thrown to it, right? So much money. Cancer is a $1 billion industry.
Disease care is a billion-dollar industry.
If cancer was cured tomorrow, Trevor, what would happen? And that's a rabbit hole, but just I'll leave that question up for interpretation to everyone listening.
Watch this, though. Watch this, though. You can't cure cancer. Here's why. Because people go, whoa, wait, everybody, they're working on a cure. I said they're working on something that is impossible to acquire because cancer is simply a cell. We get into the real fancy physiology, but it's simply a cell that has lost its ability to control itself and turn off. And so that's literally all it can't go through, apoptosis. It can't do anything, all that stuff. It's apoptosis for people that are wondering how it's spelled. And so it has lost its ability to have its own inhibition. So the human body turns over about 1 billion cells every day. 1% of all of those cells are mutated cells. That's just human body. And we get rid of those cells all the time. Our body is designed to recognize only two things, self and other. That's it. It's not complicated. It gets complicated when we start introducing weird shit into our body, right? But it's just self and other. And so when the body can't recognize that, it becomes problematic. But now here's the issue. So we have cancer all of the time and we cure cancer all of the time. That's how human beings are. Says otherwise, if we are perfect, well, then we are God. We are not. So sorry, it doesn't work that way. Well, now I introduce chemotherapy and it destroys, and people go, it only attacks cancer cells. Bullshit. There is not, listen, you take an Advil for a headache. How does the Advil know to go to your fucking head? It doesn't. It goes to your entire body. Get out of here, man. Chemotherapy is the same thing. They're like, it's designed to only target cancer cells. First of all, cancer cells. Yeah, exactly. And here's even better. There's no such thing as side effects. There's only effects.
Right. Yeah.
There's only fucking effects. That's even crazier. Is if I take a bottle of Aleve and it says relief of fever and pain, possible side effects are death, liver disease, kidney disease, stomach bleeding, all this stuff. I can flip that around and go, will cause liver disease, kidney disease, stomach lining bleeding, possible side effects, relief of pain.
Right. Isn't ibuprofen one that's so common for like destroying your gut lining? NSAIDs. NSAIDs are destroy your gut so bad. But like BPC 157 oral, take it, inject it into a glass, drink it. You will get rid of ulcerative colitis, irritable bowel disease, Crohn's. You'll get rid of all of that. And people if you and I can talk about that later and just tell your friends if they have it, because it's so fucking easy. But it's one of those things that if you give somebody chemotherapy, and now your body is going to, it destroys all cells. So now your body's having to replace 7 or 8 billion cells a day. And the rate of mutation is still the same. If all things being constant, which now we know they won't be at that rate, but if all things being constant, it's still only 1%. Well, has the rate of cancer gone up or down? It's gone up because now it's 1% of 7 billion. So now your chances of having more cancer radically increase. And that's why they have something called chemotherapeutic induced fucking cancer. So it's so bad that they have a name for it. You know how I know? Because I got it. It happened to me. And what's wild about that, 3 days,
dude,
3 weeks, right?
The most bullshit thing I've ever seen is when they go, we're going to give you a drug that is designed to destroy your cells that's going to make you healthier, and people believe it. And then when you get better, they go, well, it was a chemo. No. In fact, what happened was your body was strong enough to take the abuse from that chemo because you took it and the cancer. And thank God you're fucking strong because that's all it did. I tell everybody, don't listen to your doctor. And people, I get so much hate for that. If they're like, you shouldn't say that about chemotherapy. It's going to kill you, man. It's going to kill you.
Facts are facts.
Like, just eat like a regular person. Get your mindset right. I cut out everything that was bad in my life. I watched nothing but funny movies. I watched, like I said, Friends, like Shrek, American Pie. I just laughed my ass off, and I cut out so many people in my life that were just negative.
It's incredible when
you
do that.
It changed my whole life. Like, the more successful I become, the tighter my circle gets. 100%. Because low standards piss me off.
Yep. Whenever you have a friend or an acquaintance that says, is starting to, well, you're not cool enough to hang out with us anymore. They start questioning what you do because of how you operate. That's when you realize that, I'm going places and this person's not going to go with me.
You're growing. They're not.
Yeah.
Right. Because they're still going, why aren't you here?
Yeah.
Right. Why aren't you here? Well, because like I say this all the time, people see you with only 2 lenses. They look at your life through only two lenses. One is your position in their life, and the other is their position in yours.
Yes.
And if your position elevates on either one through either one of those lenses, they get angry.
Come back down to where I'm at.
Crabs in a bucket, right? They frantically react, trying to either reduce or discount you, and it's because you're destroying their house of cards. Right? When you do something that people go around telling everybody else can't be done, Roger Bannister syndrome, right? They're like, I can't be done. Your heart's going to explode. Sub 4. All of a sudden he does it, and the next year 27 other people fucking do it. Yeah. Because what happens is you destroy that house of cards and you shove it right in their face. That excuse house of cards. And they're like, it can't be done. You do it, and they get mad. Because they're like, fuck, he proved it. You're an enigma. Well, shit, now everybody's doing it. Bang, 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 bang. Damn it.
Yep. That's it.
Right?
Man,
it's the same
that's so
thing.
Powerful. God, so powerful. Man, Trevor.
And I think this is fun, man. Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Your story.
I could rap with you all day, dude. This was such a blast.
Your story is so admirable, and your mindset and what you have overcame with the adversity in your life is absolutely incredible. And I hope everyone listening to this takes that mentality with them and looks at what they do every day on a day-to-day basis. Check your habits, check your mentality, check what you consume, how you treat people, how you commit to things. I mean, my God, there's so many layers to this, dude. You just spit out so much knowledge. I'm going to have to go back and watch it 10 times. I'm going to go through and take notes.
The cool part is you also got my cell. You can message me anytime, dude.
Yeah, that's true, too. That's I got lucky, right?
Yeah. That's right. Totally lucky. Totally lucky.
Oh, shit. Make your own damn
You're going to be on the call tomorrow, or are you going to be on Sunday?
I'll be on Sunday. Yeah.
Okay, brother.
I'll be on there Sunday. So SmashweRx, is that where everyone can find you on social media?
WERX, SmashweRx. You can also just go to trevorbachmeyer.com.
Yeah. Google the guy. He's pretty famous if you don't know him. So he's pretty well known on the Googles.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. It was a good time, man. It was a really good time. We could do this anytime you want, dude. I'll chop it up with you anytime.
I appreciate it. Trevor.
Much love, Jake.
Friend to friend, I just got to say this,
Yeah.
I don't really give a shit about your following and all that stuff. I care about you as a person, and you are absolutely an amazing, incredible human. I appreciate your authenticity and what you are doing for everyone out there that has became soft and a victim. Your willingness to speak out against the crowd, against the masses, is absolutely freaking incredible. And I appreciate you through and through. Hell of a friend.
Likewise, man. But that's our job, right? As men, you and I.
That's it.
I say it every night when I pray with my kids. I go, you know what? And we're going to change the world.
That's it.
That's
one
our
day
job.
at a time. That's it.
That's it. It's all we got, man. Just
as
keep
long
showing
as we believe it, we'll make it happen.
Absolutely. All right, dude.
The Spartan, Trevor
Peace out.
Bachmeyer. I appreciate you. Thanks, man. This episode is brought to you by Max Effort Muscle. For all your supplement needs, go to maxeffortmuscle.com.